All right, thanks, Corey. We're joined once again for some more free legal advice with Greg Remmenga. Thank you again. Today, we're just going to be talking about a word that we talk about quite a bit when it comes to legal processes, negligence, and defining it.
Well, if you're in an accident and you're hurt, the issue is, was somebody negligent and responsible for the injury? In Colorado, negligence is defined as a person who fails to act as a reasonably careful person.
Okay.
So it's a kind of a wishy-washy term because it's still up to the jury to determine whether the person failed to act as a reasonably careful person.
Right, so that's very subjective, obviously.
It is.
It's not cut and dry, so.
But, for example, an automobile case, we can pretty much assume that if you run a stop sign, the jury is going to come back and say the person failed to act as a reasonably careful person and therefore was negligent. When we get into some of the more tricky things like a slip and fall at a restaurant, was the restaurant
or was it the
negligent or was it just an accident? It often comes up, for example, in snowstorms in a traffic accident.
Okay.
Was the person reasonably driving and hit a black spot that they didn't know about and couldn't have avoided, and that caused the accident, or was the person going too fast for conditions?
Right.
That's a jury question. Were they prudent? Were they reasonable in their actions? I've had a case where a person caused an accident, but he was having a heart attack. So just because the accident happened doesn't mean that he was failing to act as a reasonable person. He didn't know he was going to have the heart attack. He was doing everything appropriate, so therefore he wasn't negligent even though he caused the accident.
Right, so you can't just look at basically you can't judge a book by its cover. You have to look more into the details. And
just because you're injured doesn't mean somebody was necessarily negligent. So that's why you and I have talked several times about we need to set this up. What are the facts?
Yes.
Get some information. Who are the witnesses? What caused the accident? How can we show that somebody was negligent so that we can then get to the issue of, do they owe you money? Because if we can't prove the negligence, they're never going to owe you the money.
That's right. So that's just some of the things Greg can help you out with. And just want to remind you that Greg does offer free consultations.
Yes, sir.
You can go over stuff just like that. Correct?
And we can go over your case and decide what the best step is next.
Yes, absolutely. So if you have any questions like that or want a free consultation, feel free to give Greg a call at 263-4734 or visit his website, gregremmenga.com. Thanks again, Greg.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after the break.
If you want Greg to answer one of your legal questions, visit krextv.com, click on Live in the Studio, and submit your question on the right side of the screen. Watch Greg's segment every Wednesday on News Channel 5 at noon.